Hey Good Fam, alright, this is a 20-minute stretch for the hips, sciatic, piriformis, basically your hips, your lower back, just a bunch of good stretches to make your hips and everything feel well. Since everybody's out and about, walking, running, we want to make sure that we're stretching all that stuff out. So let's start on our behinds. We can have our hands underneath the shoulders, our fingertips pointing out, have the feet flat on the floor, and just lift the hips right up just off the ground first, just to get your body situated. You might a little shake side to side until you find the center right there. Awesome. And then lift your hips up. And let's take that right foot and let's cross it over that left knee, and then just lower the hips back down. This is a great way to get into this position, especially if you're not super flexible, if you have tight legs. The other thing you can do is you can take that right foot, bring it over to the left, and then press that right knee away, and then bring it back to center. So remember, use the hands to open the chest, sit up nice and tall. The more you bring that chest forward and you flatten out that back, the more you're going to feel the stretch in that hip. And don't forget to breathe. John forgets to breathe.
I know.
So for these stretches today, guys, we're just going to hold each of them for about 30 seconds, which is what we should do. And these are all static stretches, so at the end of the workout, you don't want to do these before. Good, and then press that left foot into the floor, lift the hips up. Let's release that right leg. Let's switch it up. Left foot comes up, put it on top of the right knee, and then just sit it back down. And feel free to adjust yourself however you need to make it a little more comfortable. Remember, we can bring that left foot over to the right, press the left knee away from the body so you square off those knees. And you have that shin squared with the hips, and then bring it back to center. Ooh, and you'll notice one side.
Hips don't lie.
You'll notice one side is a little tighter than the other. That's totally normal. Honestly, this is the kind of stuff that people just don't like to sit still and do, but it's really important and essential to make sure you stay in one piece. Good. Let's bring the hips up. Let's release that left foot, bring it back down. Let's extend the legs all the way out. We can lower down onto our back. Good. Let's bring our right knee into the chest. You can grab right underneath that hamstring. Let's take that left hand and take the left hand onto the left ankle, and you're going to pull that knee right up into the body. And you can take that right hand and keep it right on that hamstring. Now we don't want to twist here. We're just pulling it straight into the body. Trying to keep those hips on the floor. Good, really keeping those hips down. Don't let them lift up or come over to one side. Good. Now let's take that right foot and let's bring it to the outside of the left leg. Good. Now we're going to take our left hand. We're going to guide that right leg over to the left side. Let's keep that right shoulder down onto the floor. So this time now we are turning off to the side. But it's not a big stretch. It's not a big twist. Keep that shoulder down and then just bring that right leg across the body. A lot of times we do that supine spinal twist at the end of a workout, but that knee is a lot higher. This one you should feel more the outside of the hip. Good, now slowly come back to center. Release that leg. Let's extend that right leg all the way out. Now let's bring the left knee into the chest. First grabbing just behind the hamstring, pulling it straight up into the body. Take that right hand, grab that ankle. Good, and pull it in towards the body. And you use the left hand just once again to pull the leg in towards the body. We're not twisting off to the side. So one of the stretches we're going to end with today is pigeon pose, if you've done yoga before. So just think of this as a supine pigeon. We're just facing up. If we were flipped the other way, the foot would be underneath the thigh. It would be laying on that leg. So if pigeon posture is a little difficult for you or a little rough on your knee, this is a great alternate. Once again, keeping the hips on the floor. Think of bringing that knee up to the same shoulder, that same side. Good, now let's take that left foot, cross it over the right leg. Just have it settle there for a second. Keeping that left shoulder on the floor, take that right leg and just use the right hand to bring that right leg over to the left leg over to the right side. I'm sorry today. So I'll slow that one down. Use your right hand to bring your left leg over just gently to the side while keeping your left shoulder on the floor. Nail it.
Just hold up your left hand, Amy.
I know, right?
Nice and
I always say, don't ask me for driving directions. Woo. And you should feel that in your hip. And then let's slowly bring it back to the center. Good. Bring the left knee in, the right knee in. Grab behind the knees. Give a little rock and roll up to seated. Awesome. So now we're going to do a little bit of sideline. We're going to do some strengthening and stretching of the hips as well. We're going to bring the knees right underneath, the feet are behind. So if you were looking down at yourself, your body would be in the shape of an L, okay? You can rest, put that hand in the head or rest the arm on the bicep. Glue the insoles of the feet together, and you're just going to give me that open and close. So remember, the shoulder, the hip, and the knees are all in one straight line, and the feet are bent behind. Good, just open and close. Nice and slow here. Bring it up. Feel that strength in the hip. And close. Good. And bring it up. And down. Good. And up. And down. Two more. Good. Nice and gentle on this one. Roll to the other side. I'm going to switch this way just so I keep facing the camera. So once again, making that L shape with the body, the shoulders, the hips, the knees, all in one straight line. Have the insoles of those feet together and let's open. Good. Feel that nice tension in the back, that nice squeeze in those hips. And open. Now this one can be done in a warm-up, a little activation. Nice other option, the fire hydrants. And open. And close. Let's do 3 more. Roll right onto our stomach. We can start with that left leg. You're just going to have your hands stacked one on top of the other. You can rest your forehead down just to relax that neck. But I want you to slide your right knee up alongside of you so that it becomes almost like you're doing that fire hydrant with that knee, that hip. You get that nice 90 degrees on that leg and really imagine the hips are square towards the floor and relax the forehead down. And you can almost turn and drive your left hip in towards the floor. You get a great stretch in the hip and the groin. I like this one. I think I like it because you can just lay down. You don't have to be overly aggressive with it, but just really try to imagine you're pushing the hips into the floor and you'll get that nice stretch. Just have a gentle flexion in that foot. This is a good one you can do in bed. Some people even like to sleep like this if they have sciatic pain. And then slowly you can place the hands on the floor just to help you slide that leg back, and then just shake the hips side to side. And then let's bring the right one out to the side, bringing it up so that knee is right at hip height and that ankle is right below that knee. A little flexion in that foot, and then just stretch out that hip. It's like a lying down Captain Morgan. Should feel a nice stretch in that hip. This one feels good. And keep that nice deep breathing. Okay, and then just place the hands on the floor so you can have a little support to slide that leg back. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Let's come up to all fours. This is a fantastic stretch we're going to do. So, bringing the knees just a little bit closer. They're not together, but they're about a fist width apart. I want you to take both feet, and I want you to bring them both, angle them off to one side. So I'll just turn this way so you can see it. You need to bring them both off to one side. So fantastic. So I'm bringing both mine off to the left. Now that outside left leg, I want you to bring it straight behind you. So keep that right leg on the angle. Left leg goes all the way behind. Put that toe down. Now, start pressing your weight back, but I want you to start leaning towards the right hip. And you'll feel that. You might need to scoot that foot back a little further, whatever you need to do, but then come back and then start coming over to the right side. Key is pull that belly button in, keep that back nice and flat. So maintain that nice quadruped position. Don't round or don't just lean, just come back and then just sit back gently into that right hip. That angle with the foot just helps get the hip, and this feels real nice. This is again another modification for that pigeon pose. And this really helps get the piriformis. Feels good, huh?
Nice. You can do more of it.
And then first, slowly come back up. Place that left leg right next to the right, and then bring them back to center. Awesome. Sit the hips back, we'll child's pose. We'll rock side to side before we go over to the left. Get that other side. Good, and let's come back up. All fours. And let's bring both feet over now to the right side. And then first angle them off. Now take that right leg and extend it all the way back, straight behind you. That left foot is still on that angle. And then first start to just walking, bringing yourself back, press the hips back, and then just come over to the left side. And you might need to walk that toe, that right toe back a little bit further, depending on how far you can sit. But some people, it's super tight, that it's not a big movement. hips to the left first, and then bring it back forward. Good. Now, you might want to walk your hands up a little further on your mat, spread your fingertips nice and wide, curl the toes under, and let's come up into that downward facing dog. So keep as much of a bend in the knees as you like, but lift those hips up nice and high towards the ceiling. Imagine you're trying to get that tailbone all the way up and you're pressing the armpits down towards the floor, imagining that your rib cage could touch the top of your thighs. Now we're just going to do a little hip open before we go into our pigeon on the right side. Let's lift that right leg up, and I want you to imagine there's an ankle weight on your right ankle. Bend that knee and let that ankle weight pull you over to the left side. So it's going to open up that hip. As that leg goes over to the left side, press your right hand firmly down into the floor. So feel that long stretch, opening up that hip. And now we come back under with that right knee, and it's going to come up in between both wrists. For that pigeon pose, slowly lower down. That right foot is underneath your left hip. You need to scoot yourself back. You can use that back left toe to kind of inchworm yourself back. But those hips are squared, and you can stay up high. You can lower down onto your forearms, or go wherever you feel comfortable. And if you notice you're leaning over to the right side or you need a little assistance, if you have a yoga block, a little pillow, or a towel, you can just stick it right under that right hip to keep it up so those hips stay nice and square. Reaching through the crown of the head. Good, bringing those hands back underneath the shoulders, lifting the chest up, curling the left toes, and then lift the left knee up and bring the right leg with it, and come back into that downward facing dog. If you don't want to come into a downward facing dog, feel free just to come into an all fours position. Good, just getting a little kinks out of that leg. Both heels down. Now let's float that left leg up towards the ceiling. Remember, we have that ankle weight now on the left leg, around that ankle. Bend that left knee and let that weight bring you over to the right side, and then press the left hand firmly, the palm, into the floor. And feel that stretch all along, up through that hip. Good. And bringing that left knee, it comes down and around and underneath, in between both hands, slowly lower down. Remember, you can use that right foot to heel toe and inchworm yourself back a little bit. But now that left foot is right underneath the right hip. And hang out right here. Good, one more nice deep breath. And then walking the hands back underneath the shoulders. Good, and then just come on over to that left hip and just swing your right leg around. We're going to do two inner thigh seated groin stretches, long and short. So the first one we're going to do is long, so legs all the way out. And you want to try to keep those toes pointed up to the ceiling, sitting up tall, hands out in front. You can tense your fingertips and kind of just inch yourself forward, one hand at a time. Just creep forward. And what you want to avoid is those toes pointing inward. Keep them up, back nice and flat in that hinge, and feel that nice stretch in your adductors and those inner thighs. Good, walk the hands back. And now we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Good, I want you to cross the hands, so right hand goes on left ankle, left hand goes on the right ankle. Good, sitting up nice and tall and hinging forward. Imagine the knees pressing down and out. So as you feel them pressing down, pull forward gently. Holding it, nice static hold for about 10 more seconds, and then we'll just flutter the legs. Good, and then coming up, and then just bring the legs up and down a couple times. Good, releasing the hands from the feet, getting a little cross-legged position, and that's it. 20 minutes, guys, focusing on your hips and your sciatic and your piriformis. So any one of those stretches, you can do them alone or together, whatever feels good, but definitely include them in your workout. Stay strong, keep up the hustle, and I will see you guys back for another recovery workout. Good job.